So that's the good news and the bad news. The good news is I think that the changes are really simple. The bad news is you've got to stay diligent and practice your fundamentals every day. And I would suggest you start with a stick on the ground. This stick is actually aimed about 15 yards left. You go up there, I'm going to show it to you. And some players actually set up open to hit a draw. So it just depends on the player. But I don't ever see the ball that far back with a great ball striker. It's behind center. See where it is? Slightly open is okay. I'd prefer when you're hitting a draw to be more square, if you could. You're set up to hit a cut when you're trying to hit a push draw. The only thing that I see that doesn't look like a push cut is this ball fish. But to create speed, you're going to see this biomechanically, you want to be behind the ball, right? So if the ball's back and your stance too far, you'll have to hang back sometimes, right? And sometimes you'll hit it a little scuffy or thin in an effort to stay behind the ball, and you actually pop out of posture. And you were just talking about keeping your shoulders on the right planes. It's really hard if you're moving this way when you hit it, right? And so that to me signifies a high right. And then to save it or to turn it over, then you'll flip it with your hands to make it go back to the left, right? Does that make sense? Sure. If the ball was slightly more forward, you would stay more neutral in your spine, and you wouldn't have to back out of it to hit it.
I can usually feel if I end up on my right foot, I tell myself to move it up, usually.
Okay.
Or I try to compress it and get a dip it in its back.
The last time you were here, you were talking about staying on top of it, right? And keeping your shoulders more level, which is good. I like that. And you went to more of a three-quarter control swing, and three-quarter, what I mean by that is back swing, not follow through. Helps you do that without even thinking. And in your case, that makes you more connected if you're more three-quarter. Speed's not your issue. You hit it plenty far enough. Controlling your ball flight, ball behavior is really what we want to do. Posture looks great. Grip looks great. 2 out of 4, great. I would say your ball position needs to move a half the ball forward. That is not very far. Because more of your body is tilted to the right of that 90-degree line. So just if you move the ball just a little bit. Second thing is your toe line, even though this was aimed, and I'm going to show you in just a second where this stick is. That target is about right there. Okay? So it was consistently at that big tree. See that big tree in the distance? So that's probably a good 15 yards left. So parallel target lines, if your stick line or your feet line, you stand inside the ball and the ball's over there, right? So a parallel line to that target, let's say it's 177, I think is what it is. How far would that stick be left of that target? If you just took that line and just drew it straight out there, and then drew another straight line with your ball right at that target, where would that stick be pointed at? How far left? How far is the stick from the ball? This is a physics lesson. Like a foot. Okay. So if you drew a parallel line with that stick to your ball, and it's a foot like this, and it's exactly parallel line, how far would that stick be left of your target? A foot. And so you're 15 yards. Okay. And so in an effort to swing to the right, you're going to see this in your video, you're going to go like this to start it to the right because you're aimed to the left. And so that's why you would block it sometimes, and that's why sometimes you would overhook it. You'd hit 2 over there, and you go, oh, I got to turn this one over. And you go, and you would do a good job in timing, but we want to have less timing. So let's get your foot line on your draws. We're going to do some experimentation just to see how good you are, because I think your path is going to get better. Okay. If we had your toe line more there, I know this doesn't look like a lot, but I guarantee you that's a good 10 or 15 degrees to the left, right? Good news is your shoulder point and your arm point is great. You just need to square up your hips and your toes a bit. All right, now let's watch the swing. Let's see if what I think happens in slow motion is true. I've been wrong before, so we'll see. All right, so let's watch the one on the left first. So I think the ball's about a half inch too far back. The what's the first thing that you see you don't
Yeah, I
like?
need to get behind the ball, so I use that.
Ooh, revelational, huh? So we talked about staying neutral in your spine to keep the bottom of the arc the same.
So,
You just moved, what, 3 or 4 inches off the
Yeah.
ball? So now what are you going to do?
get down and move closer to it.
Because you're further off the ball. Good answer. You're getting smarter. All right, so now you're going to go down, and you went forward. Now you're saying, uh-oh, the ball's back in my stance,
Yeah.
so I got to stay behind it. Now watch. So now you go up and back. Now, if you time that great, you can get away with it. If you don't, it's harder. The other thing I say, you don't quite get to your left side enough, but look at your left foot. Your left foot's not even on the ground. And you're not trying to mimic Bobby Watson, are you?
No.
So I think that that's all ball position. Okay. All right. Now let's see what the path of the club does because of the ball being back and you're trying to hook it, right, or draw it. So look where the club head is in relationship to your hands when it's parallel to the ground.
Oh wow.
So remember what I said earlier that I think in an effort to stay behind it and to get the shaft under, because you're aimed to the left, you're trying to swing out to the right. That path is now, in my opinion, too far right.
Yeah.
When you agree?
Yeah.
When you want the club more in front of you?
So
Right. So it's just slightly behind you. So I don't think that's a big deal. I think when you get your aim better, you can see that better. You can see a lot of hand action.
yeah.
All right. So let's assume that ball position and aim improves. And we're going to start trying to start the ball straighter instead of curve it very much. If you play a little baby draw, a little baby fade, I don't care. I've always told you I don't care which ball flight that you prefer, as long as you own it.
So
And then as far as your swing, we really want to stay neutral in your spine. What you said about your shoulder plane is correct. Whatever you just said. It's just hard to do it when your aim and your ball position's there. So I'm going to bet it gets better. We've got a lot of time left, so if you do really good, I'm going to refilm you. I want to see a before and after.